The thing that caught my eyes does have Gary Vaynerchuk on it. Big fan of his content, so let's go ahead and dig into that real fast, and we'll just kind of chat back and forth throughout the video.
That really kind of caught me off guard is how many people spend more money on shit than they can afford. And I know that's like a funny thing to say, but it's actually very basic. I'm actually talking about the amount of people that have emailed me in the last 6 months, because I've been on this rant lately of trying to get people to move back in with their parents at 30 and 40. Yeah, I'm hot on this.
They don't have any.
Lame.
It's because there's this incredible thing. How many people here own their home? Raise your hands. The people that just raised their hands, 90% of people that own their homes don't use more than 50% of their home. They have 3 extra bedrooms that they don't need. They have a living and dining room and a fucking den and all sorts of shit. The amount of people who live in homes that they've extended themselves financially to afford that don't use half of that home is fascinating. The amount of people who are in debt so they can drive a car that has a logo on it that makes them feel better because that's keeping up with the Joneses or other people's judgment is fascinating to me. What I didn't realize was the fact that 35% of this audience wants their side hustle to be their careers, but the reason they can't is because they can't quit their job because they need their job to pay for dumb shit to impress people they fucking hate.
Yeah.
I wish that was the reason I needed a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I need 9 to 5 just to pay my bills.
Especially while the economy globally is frothy, I am aggressively throwing up for debate to the third of this audience that is trying to get their side hustle to be their job, for them to give a real thought to what it would look like if they were to downsize their home and their car and their vacations and their watch to put themselves in a position to be happy. I think over the next decade, as we continue to start really discovering as a human race mental health and happiness, that we are on the pre-dawns of people changing what success looks like. When I really look at the world, and I grew up super humbly. I've spent my 10 years ago career in the explosion of Silicon Valley. I've really been lucky to see all sorts of different things going on. It is super cliche, but absolutely true, that the money happiness thing is just a funny thing. People that don't have it think it does bring happiness. People that have it know it's not true. And when you really look at suicide data and things, depression data, it's fascinating who struggles with it. I really do believe as we become dramatically more thoughtful about happiness versus money, that a lot of people are going to start really looking at the things they amass and how much that is a choker to their happiness. And so what really excites me right now is how frothy the economy is globally, and I know so many of you can take advantage of selling high, positioning yourself to be happy. I think it's a very rogue point of view. It's completely against the propaganda that you see in your Instagram and Facebook feed 24/7. Everybody's pushing all sorts of fancy stuff and fancy trips and fancy things. I genuinely believe that the majority of people here can dramatically put themselves in a happier place if they honestly consider downsizing things that they don't use. So just a random thought that I'm super passionate about. The world where I'm asking you to create so much content, the fact that so many of you do not create content because you're so bent out of shape by the feedback in the comments section. It's become a remarkable fascination of mine that people literally aren't living their lives to their happiness or fullest.
I think what he's saying is pretty accurate. You know, after you make a certain amount of money, it's like, why? I'm just going to work to make money. Like, it doesn't bring any joy or happiness. And in my personal experience, like, you just wind up spending a shit ton of money on eating out and like dumb stuff anyway. In my experience, I mean, some people will use that money to like go on vacations or like buy themselves nice watches or cars, but the problem is, and I think it's very relatable, I worked with a lot of people that would do that. They would go and buy like a really nice brand new car for like $50,000, and then even if a year down the road they were unhappy with the position, say they got a new manager or were assigned to a new account, they couldn't leave because they had payments to make.
Yep.
And a lot of people, are afraid of taking that leap and going to another job and, just taking that risk because they have family, they have finances.
Yeah.
Most people still live paycheck to paycheck, even if they're making, $75K a year. Because they have their mortgage, because they have their car payment.
Yes, kitty. Sorry, folks. Give me one sec here. Come here, baby. Come here. You want to be on mommy's lap? You can be on mommy's lap. This is my cat, Ellie. There we go. See, that was just something I figured out pretty early on. So, because with my background, my parents constantly fluctuated between being very well off and being dirt poor. There was times growing up in my life, when I was a kid, that collectively my parents were bringing home $60 an hour. And there was also a time where I've squatted my own home. So I already knew that money didn't buy happiness. Money pays the bills. It's how you use that money, that it's the experiences that bring you happiness.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to drop a dime on an experience if I know it's going to bring me joy and great memories down the road, versus buying something material or, a lot of fast food. That's ultimately not going to make me happy, and it's just going to make me fat.
Yeah.
It's the biggest reason why when, my last job, things went south at that job. I finally decided, no, now's my time. I have to start my business now if I really want it to take off and for me to be happy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did. Yeah, I'm still struggling to pay the bills, but now I'm in a position where the business is established. I can go back to the 9 to 5 just to pay the bills. And once I have my bills taken care of, I can use all my extra energy on making sure my business goes right.
Yeah.
And keeping myself happy.
Well, yeah, and it's a fantastic opportunity that, you were able to do that.
Yep.
I think, unfortunately, what he's speaking to is a lot of people don't have that mindset initially. It's more so just they do the typical thing where they go to college, they get kind of married, kids, they kind of get trapped in that cycle of having to earn a paycheck. And
the
then
societal cycle.
Right. And they're stuck in that mindset, and so they're locked in financially, and it's really hard for them to make a decision and to take the risk to actually follow their dreams.
Because they've already set themselves up at a certain, financial income.
Yep.
They've got these high-end mortgage payments, they've got these high car payments,
Yep.
They're used to a certain lifestyle. You're right, I don't know. Aside from the people that live in this house, outside of that, I don't know anybody that would be willing to come down from that lifestyle, make $400 a month, and be willing to live on that, just to make themselves happy and accomplish their dreams.
It's very rare, and it's unfortunately sad, and that's why I like Gary, because he really does speak from the heart when it comes to matters like that.
Yep.
Because Sally Pants 36 said that you're ugly or fat.
Well,
people
fat.
absolutely crippled by the judgment of others without really understanding what it is. Let me say it here right now so there's no confusion. If a human being takes the time out of their day to consume your piece of content, consume it, and then spend time to leave a negative comment to you after consuming your content, think about how shitty that person's life is.
Yep.
Somebody literally has the time to consume your content and try to drag you down. My friends, misery loves company is one of the most interesting sayings that has been in culture for a long time.
Yep.
It most manifests in a very poor way when I watch parents drag their kids into shit because they're upset.
Yep. Been
But
there, done that.
it's one thing, and I have empathy, a lot of it, when it's your mom and dad dragging you through shit, because that's deep. But when an anonymous person with a fucking icon of a rugby player is dragging you through shit, you have to get into a place where that does not bother you. It makes zero sense. I mean, literally, and I get shit on all the time. You get that many comments, you get shit on.
A lot of people take it
when I see it, it's the only, I mean, I don't feel bad for me. I genuinely feel bad for them. I'm fascinated. I've never in my life taken the time to consume somebody's content and then shit on them. It makes absolutely no sense. So please, if you're one of these individuals, and there are a lot of you in this audience that are not producing content because you're worried about the judgment. You know how many people email me, Gary, but I have to put on makeup. Why? Because your grandma told you when you were 7? But Gary, the lighting, why? You don't like the bags under your eyes? Good news, everybody has bags under their eyes. Like, there is an enormous amount of insecurity in the system that is stopping people from creating the things they want, and it needs to be talked about in a much bigger way. The judgment of others is a fascinating thing. Do you know how many people say to me, Gary, I don't think Facebook and Instagram, that stuff doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yet in the other mouth, during that same dinner, all they talk about is how social media is fucking up the government or countries or the world.
Literally,
you're telling me that Facebook's powerful.
Or even clothes for that matter, during one of my Xbox live streams.
Yeah.
I played in my PJs, y'all. Did I wear a bra? No. Did I throw any makeup on? No. I don't give a damn.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Powerful enough to change the global world and governments, but it's not powerful enough to sell some of your t-shirts or your landscaping business services. My friends,
Real talk.
take it for what it is. We are all obnoxiously fortunate to be living through this era right now. What this era is, just to quantify it, is we are now at the maturity of the internet. The internet now is at scale. We all live there. It is real.
Yeah.
It's not what I grew up with, which it was coming. It is here. It is at scale. And the reality of the situation is, how many people, one more time, with side hustles? Raise your hands. Everyone, stand up again. Side hustle to turn into your business. I need this because this is the point.
Side hustle.
Side hustle to turn into your business.
I know
just
it's
need
side
every
hustle. I
single
don't have
person
an
that's
side right
standing
now,
to
but-
understand one thing. Your grandparents couldn't even dream to turn a side hustle into their business because the internet didn't fucking exist. They just had to eat shit and live their life and put food on a table and a roof over their head and then fucking die.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. We are
My grandma
so
still works.
outlandishly fortunate
She's
to
in her
have
80s.
this era, and what everybody's doing is spending all their time deploying cynicism and looking at the things that are negative about it without realizing it is the full empowerment to whatever you want if you're willing to be a practitioner and actually learn this shit and execute it. This era will go away.
Yep.
Many of you follow me know I'm all focused on voice and Alexa and all this. It's all gonna happen. Shit changes. Whether it's blockchain or AR or VR or voice, this internet
And we're gonna
era,
have to be on
this
that train
golden
before it
era,
takes
as we
off.
stand here today, will go away. And then, for the same reason that I didn't make any fucking videos for 5 years because I had nothing to say, there won't be a great deal like influencers and Instagram and Facebook. And you will deploy regret because you've heard me pound it down your throat and you did nothing about it. So please, Melbourne, do me a fucking favor on my 37 fucking hour flight to get here. Please make this event, this talk, the time that you actually go home and start fucking executing. Because I'll be very honest with you, I'm fucking tired of the 1,000 emails every week that I get that are the same exact thing, titled. I don't know why it took me 4.5 years of listening to the same shit to finally do it, but I'm really glad I did, because in the last 7 months I made $80,000, and before I used to be $40,000 in debt. Please make tonight the beginning of the next chapter of your life, because when it goes away, I'm gonna get quiet and execute, and you're gonna wish you did something about it tonight.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, this guy really has a point, guys. If you have something that you're passionate about, that you want to try to make a living at, do it now. Do it while you're young. Don't get locked into something. And even if you're older, guys, you know, scale back your living so that way you can go and pursue your dreams. If you scale back your phone plan, if you scale back, move into a cheap apartment or get a roommate. You know, if you scale back what you need financially in order to live,
biggest
then you will have all the extra time in the world to pursue your dreams. You can cut your job to part-time. And then by doing that, you can pursue whatever you want to do. You'll have all the time in the world to do it. For me, when I left my other job to pursue Cat Scratch Kitchen, which, you know, is my current cottage foods business, I was putting in like 8-9 hour days for 3 or 4 weeks, 5-6 weeks, something like that, you know, just to get it off the ground. And now that it's off the ground, I have to do minimal marketing, minimal advertising, you know, and I just let the orders roll in. Last month, you know, I got 1 order from my mentor, but this month I've had 2 friends place orders and a friend of my mentor place a particularly large order for Thanksgiving. No, I'm not making a ton of money right now, but, you know, as time goes on, as I put more effort into it, as I put more time into it, it's going to take off. Same thing with our reaction channel here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this started off as something fun that we wanted to do. And ultimately, you know, we're hoping to make money off of it. But if it doesn't, we're still pursuing something that we love to do. And at the end of the day, that's going to make me happy. And, you know, I'd like to hope it makes Victor happy too.
Yeah, it does.
And really, that's all that matters. Satisfy your heart first. And, you know, that's first and foremost. It doesn't matter how much money you make in the world, if at the end of the day, you're going to bed crying.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I worked a dead-end job. I came home every single night, depressed, frustrated, you know, crying. And at the time, I didn't know why. You know, it wasn't until several years later that I realized I hated that job. You know, I don't like the 9-to-5 grind. And if you can avoid it, do it. Work part-time. Go pursue your career. And when your career takes off, when your side gig takes off and you can finally start making money off of it, then you work for your own.
Mm-hmm.
And you never have to worry about answering to somebody else again.
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better myself. You know, just be patient. You know, a side hustle and a side gig is going to take several years to grow up. But if you stick at it, you know, even if it takes 5 years, 10 years to blow up, you're going to finally get there. You just have to be persistent on a daily basis, and you'll finally get there. Well, this is Victor from VKReacts, again with my beautiful girlfriend, Kat. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you like this type of video, please leave a comment down in the description. We're thinking of mixing these in with a couple of fun videos like the ones that we just did with Charlie the Unicorn. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and